a lot of my work has to do with sustainable agriculture, and I look at different data sources, things like drones, like you can see here, and satellites. But I find it's hard sometimes to explain my research in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to be presenting work from a colleague of mine, Danny Karp over there. So he does research on wildlife habitat and food safety. And even though it's not my work, it's a good example of the kind of work my team does, trying to do science that enables better decision making by companies and the public sector. So I'll dive right in. The story begins in 2006. Some of you may remember there was a really large E. coli scare, not just a scare, people got really sick. It spread across 25 states, 3 people were killed, 200 people got really sick with everything from kidney failure to bad diarrhea. And so the next question was, how do we prevent this from happening again? And it was traced back to the central California coast. No surprise, 70% of our salad vegetables come from there. And so the next question is, how do we prevent this? And so we know E. coli comes from poop, so the question was, who's pooping in our salad? And the best guess of the companies that were buying and selling the greens is maybe it's wildlife, like this adorable little guy. And so their response was, let's get rid of all the wildlife in and around the fields. So here's what that looks like. So the top is a before, and on the left you can see a nice spinach field. On the right there's some natural shrubland and grassland. And the bottom, this is a different field, but that nice bare strip at the bottom has been bulldozed, so that used to be habitat, now it's nothing. There's also poison rodent traps, there's wildlife fences, and this is going on everywhere, really widespread. So about 40% of growers in the area reported they've been doing this wildlife clearing because otherwise they couldn't sell their greens. The people were saying you have to do this. And meanwhile, this was all going on voluntarily, just the companies were driving it, but the USDA was saying maybe we should make this a federal law, maybe we should require farmers to clear habitat around their fields. But they'd skipped an important step. No one had asked, what's the evidence that this is wildlife making us sick? And so Danny decided to ask that question. He looked at a couple of data sets. So the first is land cover change, looking at things like that clearing of shrubland and grassland and riparian areas. And then he looked at actual E. coli data, so over 200,000 points on farms, looking whether there's E. coli on the greens, and then looking at E. coli in the water to get a sense of how it moves across the landscape. And here's what he found, and bear with me, the graph's a little confusing. So as we go from the right side to the left side along the x-axis, that's more habitat being cleared. So the left side, more habitat's been cleared. As we go from the bottom to the top, we're seeing more E. coli. So if clearing habitat made us safer, you'd expect to see the graph go from the bottom left to the upper right. But we're not seeing that. So we can say there's strong evidence clearing wildlife habitat isn't making us safer. There's actually some evidence it's making it worse. So that's kind of a surprising finding. So there's a couple reasons that could be. One is that we know lower diversity wildlife populations are more prone to harbor disease. Another one is that vegetation can act as a natural filter. So as that vegetation's been cleared away, we no longer have that vegetation absorbing some of the contaminated water as it flows into the fields. So this is why it's so important to do science, right? If we only confirmed what we thought, we wouldn't have to do it. But the fact we did the science means that before we had a new law put in place nationally, we were able to change that trajectory. So that tells us what's not the problem, but we still haven't solved the question of who is actually the problem. What about these guys? They're pooping too, right up next to that field. And sure enough, if you look at the effect of different land cover types on E. coli, you can see that grazable land is associated with higher levels of E. coli. Now that's not definitively stating it's cows, it's saying this is pasture and rangeland. It could be feral pigs that have the same type of E. coli. It could be something else, but we can say the more you have grazing land and cows grazing, the more we're seeing E. coli on our greens. Meanwhile, the more nature there is near each farm, the less chance there is that there's E. coli on the greens. So that's confirming that wildlife is protected, in addition to providing services like pest control and obviously recreation and wildlife habitat itself. So what do we do as a society now that we know that wildlife is not hurting us and maybe it's the cows? Well, for one thing, let's keep that vegetation, especially along streams, because we know it can act as that filter. Also along pastures or rangelands to sort of, again, filter that dirty water that might be coming from pastures. We can also have buffers of different kinds of crops. So for example, something like a grain, rye, barley, wheat is cooked, so we don't have to worry as much about E. coli on it. But the most important thing is to stop the habitat destruction. So what can you do as consumers? What can all of us do? Well, most of you probably buy greens once in a while. When you do, get on the phone. Go to the customer service desk, whether it's the grocery store or whether it's the company that puts your salad in a box you buy it that way, and call them up and say, are you guys using the best available science and encouraging your producers to keep wildlife habitat, or are you still using outdated information and promoting destruction that's not helping us and it's not helping wildlife either? So if you go to the link at the top there, salad.sciencejon.com, and there's no H in Science John, I've got the references, and I've also got text you can copy and paste in email. So if you'd like to take a picture of something, go there. And yeah, let the people who you're buying greens from know that you want wildlife near your green fields. So with that, I'll take any questions you'll have.